Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we will dive into how to configure Git using the powerful git config command. First, we will understand what Git configuration is and why it is important. We will then explore the three different levels where you can set your configurations: system, global, and local. Next, we will cover the most essential first step for any developer: setting your username and email identity. After that, I will show you how to view all your current settings or check a specific value. We will also learn how to change the default text editor that Git uses for commit messages. Then, we will look at an advanced feature, creating aliases, to create shortcuts for your most used Git commands. By the end of this video, you will be able to customize Git to perfectly fit your workflow. Let's get started. So what exactly is Git configuration? Think of it as the settings menu for Git. Just like you can customize the settings on your phone or in your favorite app, you can customize Git. The command you use for this is git config. This is a crucial first step because it is how you tell Git who you are. Every time you save your work, Git will label it with the name and email you set here. But it goes beyond just your identity. You can change the default text editor Git uses. You can even create your own short commands or aliases for tasks you do frequently. By configuring Git, you are tailoring it to your personal workflow, making it faster and easier to use. Next, we will look at the different places where these configuration settings can be stored. Git's configuration is not stored in just one place. It is organized into three different levels. First, there is the system level. This setting applies to every single user on your entire computer. You will rarely need to touch this one. Next, and most commonly, is the global level. These are your personal user-specific settings. They apply to every single Git project you work on as your user account. This is where you will set your name and email. Finally, there is the local level. These settings are specific to only one project. The configuration file for this is stored inside the .git folder of that particular repository. The most important thing to remember is the order of importance. A local setting will always override a global setting, and a global setting will always override a system setting. Now let's look at the very first thing you should configure: your identity. The very first and most important thing to configure in Git is your identity. Every single commit you ever make will be stamped with this information. It is how your team knows who wrote the code. Let's start with your username. You will type git config, followed by the global flag, then user.name, and finally your name in quotes. The global flag means this setting will apply to every project on your computer. Next, you do the same for your email address. The command is git config, again with the global flag, then user.email, and your email address in quotes. It is that simple. With these two commands, you have set up the core identity that Git will use from now on. Next, we will learn how to see the settings we have just configured. Now that we have set our configurations, how can we check them? Let's start with the big picture. If you want to see a combined list of every active setting, you can type git config, followed by the list flag. This command reads from the system, global, and local files and shows you the final value that Git will use for each setting. It is the best way to get a quick snapshot of your entire Git configuration. In the next slide, we will see how to narrow down this view to find specific settings. Now let's see how to get more specific. If you want to see only the settings from your global configuration, you can add the global flag to the list command. The same works for the local level, showing you settings for just the current repository. This is very helpful for understanding why Git is behaving a certain way. You can also check the value of one single setting. To do this, you just type git config, followed by the name of the setting. For example, git config user.name will show you just the username you have configured. Now that we know how to view our settings, let's learn how to customize another important one: our default text editor. Sometimes, Git needs you to type a longer message. For example, when you make a commit without providing a message directly on the command line. In these situations, Git will automatically open a text editor for you. The default editor is often Vim, which can be a bit intimidating if you have not used it before. The good news is that you can easily change this to your favorite editor. The setting for this is core.editor. For example, to set Visual Studio Code as your editor, you would use the command git config global core.editor code --wait. The wait flag is very important here, as it tells Git to wait for you to finish typing in VS Code. If you prefer a simpler terminal editor like Nano, the command would be nano. And of course, you can always set it to Vim if that is what you prefer. Next, we will look at a really cool feature that can save you a lot of typing: aliases. Now for a feature that will make you much more efficient: aliases. An alias is simply a nickname or a shortcut you create for a longer Git command. This helps you save a lot of typing for the commands you use all the time. Let's look at how to create one. The command starts with git config global, followed by alias dot, and then the shortcut you want to create. For example, to create a shortcut named st for the status command, you would type git config global alias dot st space status. Now, whenever you type git st, Git will run git status for you. In the next slide, we will look at some more practical and powerful alias examples. Let's look at a few more useful examples. You can create short aliases for common commands you type all the time. For example, you could set CO to mean checkout, BR to mean branch, and CI to mean commit. But aliases can also handle more complex commands. For instance, you could create an alias called last that runs the command log-1 head. This command is a quick way to show you the details of the very last commit you made. As you can see, aliases are a powerful way to customize Git for speed and make your workflow much smoother. In the final section, we will summarize the key takeaways from this video. Let's quickly summarize what we have learned. First, the git config command is your main tool for controlling how Git behaves. Second, remember the 3 levels of configuration. Local settings are for one project, global settings are for you, and system settings are for everyone on the machine. Local always wins over global, and global wins over system. The most important first step is to set your identity using user.name and user.email. You can easily check your settings with git config --list. Finally, you can improve your workflow by setting your favorite editor and creating handy shortcuts with aliases. Mastering these simple configurations will make your experience with Git much smoother and more efficient. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified about new content. A link to the code and the markdown file for this presentation is included in the description section below. See you in the next video.